Okay, in this session, today I have a plan for these topics. Let's see the time permits what all we can cover. Okay, so we are going to start with the phase one called design. Okay, so in the last class, we have discussed what all tools available for design. Okay, and what will be the output of this design, right? The output or the result of design phase is nothing but your specification, well formed specification, or we can say it will be a kind of approved contract, right? As output from the design phase. Okay, so we are going to discuss these topics. Before that, let's start with the requirement. Okay, so the moment, let's say you have a client and you have client XYZ. Okay, now the client is asking you to build bank API. Okay, so the moment you heard this name bank API, what all comes to your mind? The moment I say bank, right? Once you heard this
financial
name,
transaction,
bank, yes. So you'll be, you'll get a picture of accounts,
account,
you'll get a picture of transactions, right? You'll get a picture of loans, you'll get a picture of, without customer, you cannot run the bank at all, right? Customers. So many more things will come to your mind, right? Debit, credit, loan type, account type, transaction types, even customer type, whether it's an employee or a customer, right? Lot of things will be coming into picture, branches, right? But for a demo point of view, we'll concentrate on at least two things. So we'll focus on accounts and we'll focus on customer, two variety of resources. Okay, so what all comes to your mind, that is called resource. So account is a resource, transaction is a resource, loan is a resource, customer is a resource, user is a resource, right? These are resources. Okay, and we are going to focus on accounts and customer. Okay, now these resources, and we are talking about not only API, we are talking about more specific REST API. Okay, now we have discussed, right? Resource will represent a state, right? In some entity. It can be your legacy system, it can be your database. This data will get stored somewhere. When you're running a bank, you're actually storing this data. So this account will get represented somewhere, right? Now, on that resource, you can perform CRUD operations. What is this CRUD operations means? Create, read, update, delete, right? Instead of that, what I say, we'll be performing HTTP verbs. Okay, now again, I'm giving you this jargon so that you'll get a clear picture. What is this HTTP verbs means? HTTP methods.
Put.
Right? Now, instead of writing like that, what I supposed to say here, create account, right? Update account, delete account, read account or get account information. Right? These are CRUD operations, right? Now for each operation, right, we are performing on one resource. Now each operation is represented by, if I go ahead and say, this is represented by post method, right? If I go ahead and represent this is actually represented by put method or patch. Okay. Put or patch. And what is the difference between put and patch?
Patch will remove completely and change the whole thing or every, I think like that, and put will make little bit update, I think.
completely wrong. Okay, Kunal. Okay,
Okay.
so if you go, let me talk about this little bit. So put is actually replacing your resource completely.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
complete resource update. Okay,
Update. Okay.
patch itself, right? Patch is it you're filling some holes, right? Patch
Yeah.
is nothing but, let's say you are updating the, updating the address of that
Some user.
employee. Once you are getting promoted, you are updating the profile over there, right? So if from developer you are become senior developer, from senior developer become a manager, and blah blah blah. So that's where we
Got it.
do a
Got it.
patching. You change your location. Initially you worked in X place, now you're
Got it.
working in Y place. So that location will get changed. That is like patching means
Okay. Updating some
updating
information.
few
Information.
fields,
Fields.
and it is complete resource. Okay, be careful here. Okay,
Got it. Yeah.
now is it clear? So now these
Yes.
all operations will be performing on customer also, right? Instead of accounts, we'll be saying customer. That's it.
Yeah.
Control V, Control V. Okay, okay. So now we have decided. So first, initially what we said, what all resources will be there in my API. Okay, and on those resources, what all operations are supposed to perform. This has been given by your client. This is written in the client requirement document. We are actually decoding that document, and then we are writing something like this. Okay, so we read the document and we said, okay, all these resources has to be there. Then all those on those resources, what are operations are supposed to perform. Then based on those operations, we'll decide methods, right? One by one, we need to go and decide this. Now in requirement document, let's say they have mentioned your clients wants to. So now we talked about resources. Now let's talk about security. So your client says your API, okay, the API should be secured with OAuth token. Okay, or if this is a process API or system API, they will ask you to secure via client ID and client secret. Okay, so all this information when you decode it from that requirement document, they will give some text document. Okay, they will write in some format. We need to get that document, decoded and figure out like this. Okay, now there could be some hidden information over there. That will be something like we'll talk about now. Fragmentation. Okay, so fragments. Now they are saying, okay, can you okay, so they will say try to make possible try to reuse, okay, if possible. This kind of lines will be there. So what do you mean by this, right? For example, right, so I have multiple resources over here. Now if you think about account, right, so for account, definitely you'll be writing a data type, right? So you need to define the structure for the account, right? So you'll say that, okay, these many fields has to be there in my account. So you'll create a data type, or we can say schema for account resource. Similarly, you'll create for customer also. Now, whichever API you implement, right, the data type or the structure of account will be same for all the APIs, right? Correct? In a bank, if we are talking about the SBI bank, you take account will have similar kind of structure for all the APIs. Now, can I put this account data type at some centralized location and start referring from there? That is called creating fragments and reusing it. That is what. Instead of creating schema in each and every API, instead of injecting this schema in each and every API, what I'll do, I'll make a standard schema for account, keep it at one location and ask everyone to refer from there. So what are the advantages we are getting? Okay, let's first talk about the disadvantage. Now, if I ask each and every API designer, who is doing this job? API designer right now, right?
Yep.
Now, if I ask a designer, okay, boss, you can have your account schema. Now, our API designer is so creative, you know that, right? Everybody's mind will work in different way. They will come n number of copies of schema of account. Somebody will use account ID, somebody will use account I capital, small d, somebody will use account I capital, D capital, somebody will say unique ID, or somebody will say simply ID, right? So all the copies will be created and it will be really tedious job or very hectic to maintain those many copies. And in future, if I want to add some field, right, to that data type or that schema, it will be horrible for me. And think about how many changes I need to make, because in each and every API, I need to go and make that change. If you want to add some field or remove some fields from that schema, right? So to avoid that and to give a standard structure of account, we can create a fragment, okay? And that fragment name is nothing but data type. And we can keep that data type at a central location. We'll talk about it, okay? Either you can keep it in the same API, or we can even create separately a fragment, global fragment, and that global fragment we can refer in all the APIs. You got it, right?
Okay. What do you mean by data type? That is fields?
Yes. So for example, if you talk about, if you talk about, if I take the example here, right?
Yeah.
Example. Okay. So if I talk about account, now what all fields should be? Account ID, right?
Account ID, name.
Account ID, and we'll say that this is integer, right? And we'll say this is required.
Required. Okay.
Right? Yeah. This kind of stuff will be adding out there. Account type.
Okay.
Right? We'll say this is a string. Okay. And I'll say, okay, string, but the account type are predefined static. So I'll say, okay, this should be loan. Your account type should be within this string. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say loan, saving, current, right? Credit, these strings. So that means your account type is a string. Yep. But you cannot bring all the string from the world. The strings only belongs to
this four group. Yeah.
Right. Every bank will have specific, defined range of account type. Right. They cannot have XYZ account type. Not possible. Right. Yep. You will have your branch. I'm just giving you example. There will be a lot of fields. Right. I'm just giving you example.
Definitely.
I got it. Now, can I define here for branch? Can I define any string? No.
No.
Branch can be from any world. I mean, today I have only 10 branches. Tomorrow I can 100 branches. But tomorrow can I have different account type? No. I'll be having this specific.
If we have, we can add it, right?
Yeah, we can add it later, but that change will be very minimal.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, got it, right?
Yeah, we just need to change in this we had to add the fifth, right?
Yeah, we have to add a fifth here. We don't need to change anything in our code or anywhere.
Yeah, got it.
Right?
Yeah.
And in other word, in programming language, we call it enum. I don't know you read it about the enum or not, but this is very famous. Okay, enum. You can provide enum, and under enum you can give the set of strings which will become a static strings for your that field. Okay, we are going to use all those things. So you got the idea now what is data type I'm talking about?
Yes,
now you can hear one more thing you can mention here. So actually you are telling, okay, give me data, but that data should, adhere with some rules and regulation. Okay, so I'm saying account ID has to be integer, right? It has to be required. You cannot pass null or you cannot skip this field. And you can say that, okay, maximum string limit or something. I'm just writing here. I'll say 10 character max. Okay. And mean limit, I'm saying, 5 characters. So I'm saying minimum it should be 5 characters and maximum it should be 10 characters. You cannot cross this. You cannot give four letter or
or 11.
Yeah, got it, right? Now,
Yeah, got it.
yeah, so now why we are writing this schema? Okay, what is the point? Right now, let me give you one example. Okay, so now if I go here, go to my okay, so if I go here, okay, now if you look at my screen, so now you are a client which is sending data to my API, and I have a database. Now this is the API we are trying to build. Okay, now the client is sending data regarding account. Okay, so it's asking me to create the account. Now my API, if I don't have this schema, okay, so now you're sending, let's say, branch, and I am having limit over here. So let's say branch, okay, and some more field, what I'll say, name of the bank, okay, and here I'll say string, but I'm saying, okay, mean length, okay, is equal to 10 characters, and max length, I'm saying 10 characters. What do you mean by this? Right?
It should be 10.
Okay, so here, okay, so I'll say not here, I'll say here. Okay, so your account ID always will be 10. You cannot have different values for the account ID. It has to be 10.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
But bank name you can have 10 characters or 15 characters. Minimum is 10 characters, maximum is 15 characters. Now, if I go ahead here, and now the bank name, if I pass 9 characters. Now, if I don't have that schema over here in my bank, this request will come to my API. My API will see, okay, the request looks fine. It will send that request to database. Now, while creating this record in database, on the database level, there is a name field, and that name field says, okay, I'll be only accepting
10.
Greater than 10 or greater than or equal to 10 and less than or equal to 15. Now, what will happen? Your database will reject that request. It says that, okay, I could see only 9 characters in that. I'm not going to accept it. So your database will throw error. Now this API will send back the error back to the client, that bad request. Now, don't you think this is a bad design? You're actually allowing that request till database. This is a network call, right?
Yes.
It will go till database, and database is actually throwing error. And what if the database throws error which is not readable properly? What this client will understand from there? He won't be able to understand. Correct? Now, what if on the entry gate itself over here, if I have some validation on the request without writing single line of code, how about that? See, if I want to handle this scenario, I need to get this error response from here, handle it here, and then send a readable response back to the client. Then only I'll be able to make some sense, right?
Yep.
So I need to give user-friendly, more readable responses back to the client. Then only it will be a more, it's a good service, right?
Yeah.
Now that entry gate validation is nothing but a schema. That is nothing but a data type. Now, on incoming request, I'll just go ahead and apply the schema. If the schema satisfied that request, the request will allowed inside. Otherwise, from here itself, it will throw result back saying that, okay, this field has to have values in between 10 and 15. Clear message will go back to the client from here itself. I don't need to process the message. I don't need to send it to the client
database.
All my performance times will be drastically increased. Right? See the performance. See, this is called good design. This is what we are talking about. Best practices will be looking at. Where should I put my validity checks? And on the entry gate, or I'll allow go till database and database will take care of it. Correct?
No. And then
yes. Okay, that's fair. Now you understand why we are using schema and this data type?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll be writing data type for account. We'll be writing data type for customer. Okay. Now in which language we supposed to write this? We need to decide the language, right?
Yes.
Okay. So our Anypoint platform supports RAML. It supports OAS. It supports async, right? All these languages are supported by. There is one more language, but it won't supported by our Anypoint platform. We cannot write WSL inside our Anypoint platform, but there is a language. Okay. So now in our scope, we are going to write the specification by using RAML, and we'll be converting any point of time this RAML to OAS, because RAML and OAS is for REST API. Okay. So let me put it this way. Okay. So this is for
REST API.
REST API. We have discussed this all, but let me put it in proper way so that it makes more sense. So this is for event
based.
Yeah, event based or event driven architecture, or message broker, or we can say asynchronous APIs. Okay. And WSL is for
SOAP APIs.
SOAP web services, right? Clear? But our scope is RAML. We'll be writing our scope, our specification in RAML, and we'll convert into OAS any point of time. We don't need any external tool. Automatically, our exchange itself will convert our RAML into OAS. Our design center will convert our RAML into OAS. Okay. We don't need to go for any external tool. Clear?
Is async will be useful in this MuleSoft or not?
Yeah, we don't have any mocking service for this. This is just for the documentation right now. Okay, we don't have any mocking service. We cannot test anything. It's just for documentation. I'll share the link. If you go ahead and just say sync API .org. Let me just put it. asyncapi.com. Okay, so if you go here, see. Okay, I'll just share this link in the chat.
So in chat, I need to open right now, but I'm not getting it out in the our drive, because you are not sharing chat there. So I'm not getting that chat. Whatever sites you are posting here.
You're not getting the chat. You're supposed to be, right?
Yes, but I'm just getting videos. That's it. I'm not getting chats.
Okay. So you want me to save the chats also? You can get it right away and bookmarks is, right? That's what my point. Okay, you can take this URLs.
Yes, sometimes I miss it. So
okay. I'll see that how we can share the chat also.
That's totally fine. If there is something like we can share a file and we can add this all URLs there.
Okay, we have options over there. I think I'll just give it to you. Just hold on. So I'll just code share. I'll just create one. Let me know whether you have I'll just ping this and just you look at this page. Can you just access this codeshare.io?
Just a minute.
Okay, I'll be keeping all
Yes.
the links over here only. Okay.
Okay. Do I need to sign up?
You don't need to sign. It's free.
Okay.
Just have a try. Just have a look at it. Whether you are able to see.
Yes, I'm seeing that page.
Okay, I'll just paste one link over here. Just let me know whether you are able to see.
Okay.
We'll keep this open. Okay. Are you able to see that link?
Yes.
Okay, I'll keep this all document also there. We'll be keep on updating over there. So you can have this data available. Okay. Are you able to see all these things?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we'll be keeping, I'll be updating this, keep on updating. You just keep this open. Okay, I'll source control. I'll just bookmark this so that I'll be opening this document only every day. Okay.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Control D. Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. So now we have decided a language. Now we need to decide the tool also. So tool we have Design Center, and we have
Anypoint Studio.
Anypoint Studio also. So right now I'm using 7.14, which is latest. I recommend you also use 7.14. Okay.
Yep.
But I'll give an assignment for writing specification from Anypoint Studio. We'll be covering in this session, we'll be covering Design Center. So scope is Design Center. Okay. Hope everything is clear now. So let's go ahead and start our design for our bank API, bank REST API. And we are going to cover all these topics during that session or during that, while writing a specification. Am I clear so far?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. So let's log into our account. We have created one fresh account. Let's go to and explore the first component, which is Design Center. Now, the moment you log into your Design Center, you'll get an option over here. Okay. Create new. So we have two options here, new specification and new fragment. Okay. So now quickly, what is the difference between this? Okay. So I can write my specification complete in single file. Everything I can dump in the single file. Okay. But what will happen? Some piece of code will get repeated at multiple lines. Okay. That piece of code, instead of repeating in that same file, what I can do, I can extract it from there, put it in a separate file, and based on this extracted code, what code actually I extracted, based on that, we'll name it. Whether it's a data type, whether it's an example, whether it's a error codes, or whether it's headers, based on that, we'll give a name. And this process is called fragmentation. So actually we are extracting a piece of code from my actual specification, keep it in separate file, and based on the code which you have extracted, we'll give a name. So there are fragmentation called data type, examples, traits, security scheme, library. All these are type of fragmentation. Okay, data type, examples, traits, security schemes, and library. And there is one more data type called resource type. We'll talk about all these things in detail. Okay, but just wanted to give you the picture. What? So this, if you want to create a fragment, okay, this option is there. New fragment. You can create before creating a specification, and then when you're creating specification, you can refer that. Okay, that way we can do. But let's first go ahead and dump everything in one file, and we'll see that how that file, how messy that file looks like. And then what they will do, we'll apply the fragmentation on that file, and we'll see that how many lines are reduced now. Okay, and how we are reducing the redundancy, how we are increasing the reusability. That part we'll see, because the MuleSoft mission itself and Visual itself is more focused towards the reusability, reduce the redundancy, reduce the donkey work. That's why that mule, name came into picture, right? Reduce the donkey work, reduce the repeated work, and make it a reusable code or reusable entity, so that people will be reusing that instead of reinventing the wheel, instead of keep on writing, instead of keep on injecting same piece of code at multiple locations. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now let's go ahead and give some good name to our REST API. So I'll just say SBI Bank. I'll say, RESTful API. This is the name I'm giving. Now, if you see here, I have option to select either OS or RAML. I'm comfortable with the RAML, so I'll select RAML, and we'll convert this RAML into OS in Exchange. Okay. We are selecting RAML 1.0, which is latest. If I select RAML 0.8, I won't be able to use library. I won't be able to use data types. I won't be able to use the documentation, right? So that has been added in the RAML 1.0 new features. So we'll select the latest one. Either I can write manually everything, or I have visual interface over here. I can go ahead and use the visual interface, do the configuration. My RAML will be ready. My OS will be ready on the same fly. But I don't want to do that. I want to write manually everything. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and create the specification now. So I get empty page. Okay. Now, if I go here in this specification, if I am writing a specification, I'll be getting a root file. And that root file, there will be a tag for the file, root file. That root file is a entry point for your specification. Just like if you have Java code, right? In a Java code, there will be a main method. That main method will be your entry point. In our specification, the root file is an entry file. From root file, we'll be traveling to the fragmentations. We'll be calling other RAMLs, all those things. But our control will come to this root file first. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about here now. See here, root file tag. So this is the main file. From first control will come here, and then it will go to all other place. Okay, let's try to understand this page first. Now, if you go to the extreme left, okay, so there are 3 icons. These are recently added, this one. Okay. Now, this is a file options. This file option is actually giving you what all files you have created, what all folders you have created. That list will be coming over here. If you have specification already created, you can directly import it from the Exchange. We have discussed it, right? Once you create a specification, you'll be uploading or publishing it to the Exchange only, right?
Yes.
If you already created, you can go ahead and import that from here. You can go to your Exchange and you can import it from here. See here, we have API fragment, we have REST APIs. You can import it from here directly. Okay, if you select it, you'll get that RAML in your design center. I don't want to do that right now because I want to write my own. Later, I'll see that, right? If you want to make a change, you'll go here and import that and then start working on it. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, second option, we have dependencies. Now, just now I said, right, if I create a fragment and keep it globally, how to refer that? By using this option. I can go ahead here and I can say fragment and search for any fragment. Now, these all are fragments only. So if I go and add this fragment to mine, it will be added to as a dependency. Reference. It won't add a copy, okay? Referred by value, referred by reference. Hope you are clear with that. It will be referring it. So this fragment will be adding. Now rule set. So recently the API governance is added. Now whatever specification you are writing, right? Now what all supposed to be followed or recommended in that specification, these rule sets will talk about it. Now if you're talking about HTTPS enforcement, Anypoint best practices. So in this rule sets, few things are already written and they'll be cross-checking your specification, whether you're following all the best practice or not, whether you're writing your basic URI with this standard or not. So which year, whether you are having examples in your RAML or not. If there are no examples, this guy will throw error. So if you apply this rule sets on your specification, these rule sets will be validating your specification on the fly. We'll see this option also. We'll apply the HTTP enforcement, Anypoint best practices. We'll apply required examples because these are specific to REST API. Data graph is different, async is different, this security subset is different, open API is different. So whatever is REST API specifics, we'll apply and we'll validate our specification at the end. Clear so far?
Okay.
Okay. Now the same option exchange, you can go ahead and publish it from here itself. Okay, this is recently added. It was there here. This is already there.
Okay.
They have given here also. So publish to share with organization and business group to make publicly available. This option also there. Same. Both are doing same job. Left side is clear?
Yes.
Okay.
So we
now,
can use privately as well, right?
Private?
If you don't want to use it publicly, we can publish as a private as well, just for our organization use.
Yeah. Default it will be private only.
Okay.
Default it will be private. Then you need to go and make it public. We are going to
we
see
don't
that
need
also.
To publish, right? We don't need to publish then.
We need to publish. Otherwise, it will be there in your account only in your design center. It won't be visible to anyone else. Okay. Yeah, so right now when you're
but if we want to complete like completely for the organization, we don't need to publish it.
No, we need to publish it. I'll tell you how we need to control that. Okay. I think that concept, I think you have, but little bit there is a gap. Okay. So yeah, let me clarify that. So when you're designing here, right, in your design center, you are in design center, you are in DC right now.
Yes.
So this is actually specific. This design center is specific to your ID only, Q. Now, if you want to, so right now this copy is with you only you. Now, when you publish it, your complete organization will be able to see that because you're publishing it to the exchange. Unless you publish it to the exchange, it won't be visible to anyone.
Okay.
Now, this is only visible to your organization when you publish it. Now, there is a world also, right? Now, if you want to share with the world, there is an option to make it publicly available. There is an option to make it publicly available. So there is an option to, make it public. Then entire world will be able to see that.
Okay.
After publishing in exchange, there is option, not in design center. From design center, you can publish it to the exchange. This is private portal of your organization. So from the organizations, you'll be able to show, you'll be able to share within your organization. Now in exchange, there is an option to make it public. Okay. Only API specification, you can make it public. Fragment, you can't. Okay. Fragment, nobody will be interested, right? Why other outside world will be interested in fragment? No. They'll be interested in API specification. So you can make API specification publicly available. So that will get published on your public portal. For every organization, there will be a public portal. Okay. So public portal, your API will be list down and other people will be able to see without logging into your Anypoint platform. So public portal is there for every organization. Whatever.
We will see this scenario, right? We will see this scenario in practical. Right?
Yes, I'll show you this scenario in practical. Okay. Yeah. Let's go now. So left hand side is clear. Okay. There'll be root file. We'll be creating multiple files over here. Let me talk about this exchange.json. This is the metadata about your API. So now see what is the name of the file. This one, right?
Okay.
This is what we are given. What is the classifier? RAML. Is there any tags? No, we have not added any tags. Okay. Then if you add some dependencies here, that will also get added over here. You cannot change this file. Okay. This is read only. You cannot change.
Yes.
It will get changed when you add dependencies. For example, if I go ahead and add one dependency, just let me add. Okay. Just for the sake of, I'll just add something. Okay. Don't ask me why you are adding this. Just
no, fine, got it.
We'll delete it later, okay? Because we don't need it. So the moment I add it, see now the dependence section added. See here.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Now let's go ahead and remove it. So I will remove it. We go back to here in the dependencies and just say remove it.
Remove.
The moment I remove it, from here also it will be deleted. See here.
Yeah.
Correct.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. No, so this exchange.json is read only. It's metadata about your
data about data.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Now, if you look at center, right, this is the editor for you, the canvas. And this language, which we are talking about, RAML, right, it's actually syntactically exactly similar to the Python. Python also works in indentation based on the indentation, right? So yes. This is your parent. Or let's say this is your grandparent. Colon is your, now this is your parent. One tab inside. Then child. One tab inside. Then grandchild. Something like this. This is the format, indentation format.
Yes.
So this is the parent of all, right? Then the parent, then child, then grandchild. So this way you need to, So this is the body of child. This is the body of parent. This is the body of grandparent. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So here we'll be writing the code. Now automatically, based on your cursor position, okay, where your cursor is, based on that, this is your shelf. The shelf will give you suggestions. From here directly you can get these suggestions. Okay. For example, I wanted to secure my API. I'll go ahead and I'll use this command. So since my cursor was here, I was able to see these options. Clear? Okay. Based on your cursor position, you will get options. Now, if I put a cursor over here, see, there are no options. If I put a cursor over here, other options. Based on cursor position, you will get options in the shelf. Shelf will be, it is very easy to, auto-complete your stuff and speed up your design process.
But I have not seen this shelf in Anypoint Studio.
Anypoint Studio also will get it option. I'll show, maybe you can try it.
Okay.
You'll get option.
I tried that, but I didn't get that.
Okay. No problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this one center down, it's done. Now, right hand side, you'll get a documentation here. Okay. Automatically, whatever you write here, for example, let me put one resource here. So we have decided to have accounts, right? The moment I put account, see here, endpoint got created. So this documentation is coming from this tab over here.
Yes.
Clear?
Yep.
We'll be seeing a lot of things here. Okay. Now, the second option, extreme right, we are going around. This option will be giving us mocking service configuration. Okay. So this mocking service will be helping us to test our design here itself. Even without publishing this to Exchange, we can share you can create a public URL from here, and this URL you can share with your other developers, or even you can set the expiry time for this URL.
Okay.
So you can say
Got
that, okay, this URL will be valid for 1 week. By default, 1 week time you'll get it. You can change it. So this, see here, today is 11, by default 17 it shows. Correct? You can go ahead and change this. If you want to make it for only 1 day, you can go ahead and make, after 1 day, this will get expired.
Got it.
Every time it will get changed. Okay. Now if I'm enabling, the different URL will get it. At the end, some unique ID will be created for you. Okay. And that will be keep on changing. Okay.
Got
so
it.
if I copy now, Control C, and if I put it here in my, okay, so I'll just put it here in our code share itself. Okay. So if you see mocking URL, this is the URL right now, right? If I go ahead, disable, enable it again, copy it, and paste it again. See here, there is a different value. See here, D81, FF1. You got it, right? Rest of the thing will be same, but this part will be changing, keep on changing. Hope this is clear to you. This is a public URL, okay? You can go ahead and you can trigger this actual URL from Postman.
Yep.
Right now, this is there in the same design center only, right? It's not published to Exchange, but still you want to share with someone, you can give this URL.
Yes.
So if I copy right now, let me just check whether it works or not. Okay. Let my Postman be loaded. Okay. We'll go here. Okay. Now I can go to documentation back. I can go ahead. See here the URL look like mocking. This is mocking URL. Okay. I can copy this. Even I can go to my Postman, this URL, and I can paste it here, Control V, and if I trigger it, see, so if you go back, go to copy this, go back to the Postman, Control A, Control V, and say accounts. So right now we have not defined any method, but you are able to see now. See?
Yes.
So the moment we'll say, if I go back to my design center and I'll just simply say here, get. Okay. Now, if we go to Postman, simple, we have not done anything, right?
Do we need to
get method, write, send.
200.
We are able to see here, right? So now if I go ahead and Control A, Control C, and go to Postman, I'm just showing you, we are going to do all these things during our service error, no organization ID header. Okay. So this URL, which is coming from mocking service, and the other public URL. So let's go ahead and use a public URL, which was this. Okay. So I'll just enable and copy this, go back to the Postman, Control V. See here now, 200, empty. We have not written anything. We have not defined our body and all that, but you're seeing, right? The two URL, first URL is not working because that is private. You're getting it? Yes. Only this public URL will be able to. Do you see that? Is this a specification published anywhere? No, it's local to me, right? Now if I generate the public URL from my Postman, I'm able to access it.
Yes.
Got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's go back now. Now we'll start writing our specification. So we'll define. Now in the requirement, one thing was missing. If you go back to a requirement, I forgot to mention one thing. Okay, so we have decided data type, we have decided fragments, we have decided security. But what input request to look like? So request and response data type, we have not decided, right? So request or response data type. So here we'll say that, okay, incoming request should be in application JSON or XML. And similar way, the response types also will be going either in XML or in JSON. Incoming JSON or XML, outgoing JSON or XML.
Got
Now
it.
all these things, whatever we have written in this document, right, we are going to add it in a proper language, in proper structure, in the form of specification. Okay. Now if you look at here, right, see what it says. See here, look at the options. So that request data type and response data type is nothing but media type. Okay, now see here, if I go down, media type, I can have multiple media type. I can give in array format. So the syntax to give array format, so media type, I'll be supporting JSON as well as XML. So either you can give like this, enter hyphen XML, or this is the one way of doing it, or we can go ahead and give square bracket here, and inside the square bracket, I'll select this, comma, then I'll go ahead and I'll select this. Okay, so both syntax are correct. This is the one way of doing it, and then another way of doing that. So if whenever you're representing array of items, you can do like this way or one by one. Okay, so one thing we have defined that this API is going to accept the request either in JSON or in XML. Clear?
Yep.
Now, I wanted to give a version. Okay, so version of this API, I initially start with V1. Then I wanted to give what all protocols I'm going to support. Again, in protocols, I can have array of elements. I can go ahead and do like this, hyphen. I can go ahead and do like this. So now both syntaxes are in front of you, this way or this way. So now right hand side, you see version is automatically documented, supported protocols. So I'm going to support HTTP as well as TPS. Now, go down. Okay. Now I think the little skeleton is ready now. Now let's go ahead and decide our resources. So parallelly, we'll be following the best practice also. So whenever you wanted to give a resource name, okay, first it has to be noun. Whatever name you're going to give, that has to be noun. And if you know that, if that resource is going to return you a collection of records, not single record, collection of records, then go ahead and use plural. Okay, this is the best practice. Okay, and your resource name should be in camel case, like this. So these are the best practices for writing your resource name. Noun, plural, Control Z, Shift Home, Control C. I'll put it here in the for resource name. Okay. Kunal, clear?
Noun, noun plural and camel case. What is the use for noun?
Okay. So when you are representing resource, right? So
Yes.
we are representing accounts, right? What is the noun for account? Account only, right?
Account.
And your resource starts with /, then your noun. You can keep a noun as it is. If you feel that this resource is going to return a single record, keep as it is. If you know that, then make it plural.
Yep.
So your resource name always has to be like something like this: users, employees, like this. Employee is a noun, right? Employees always always give something like this.
Yes. But I didn't understand the camel case.
If you have two names, right? Two words are you're connecting.
Okay.
If you for example, can you give me any example where two words are there?
Employee ID.
Employee ID can't be resource, right? Saving account, okay, something like that.
Yeah.
So how are you saving? Either use both. I think both are working. This is somewhere this guy all this way also they are doing it, and this we got it.
Okay.
Saving accounts. Okay. So first resource we have decided to go ahead with accounts, and second resource, if you remember properly, customers. These are my two resources.
Yep.
Clear? Now, if you go right hand side properly, the skeleton has been ready now. Now we decided to have get method on this, post method on this. Remember?
Yes.
Put method on this, delete method on this. Okay, so D can't be capital, and this is case sensitive. Okay, very careful when you are writing anything. Case sensitive. RAML is case sensitive. Okay. Now look at this. Same thing will apply on customer also. Now if you see right hand side properly, the methods are coming. Now if I go ahead, I have not written anything, but you'll be able to see proper output. Send. See, I'm able to test it properly. I'm getting 200. Okay. This is just testing. There is no server involved here. Okay. Just mock data is getting tested. This schema is getting tested. It's not connecting any server. It's not connecting any database. It's not connecting any external service. It's connecting this endpoint, and whatever is given here, that will be shown here. Okay. No real data. It will be all mock data. Okay. Now let me clarify here. Okay. This get and post, put and delete. Okay. So this put and delete, you should not apply directly on your resource. Why I'm saying? So if you go ahead and if I try to show you something. So your get, it works on collection of record. So you are saying, give me all accounts, right? Your post, what you can say, can create multiple records. This also you can pass in the array, and those many records will be created for you. But put and patch, you need to tell explicitly that which record you wanted to update. Which record, that record, question mark, that record ID, unique ID, identification of that particular record you wanted to give. You should not go blank or blind. Delete also same thing. Which record you want to delete? If you go and say delete all the records, that is not a valid scenario, right? Yep. So you need to give the ID. That means you need to give where clause. In the database, if you go, so you need to say, okay, delete where ID is equal
to this. Okay.
ID is equal to something, right? This you need to go for put also, delete also, and for patch also.
Yes, got it.
Now, if you want the where clause, if you remember, right? If you remember, we talked about URI parameter, right? Yes. So URI parameter will give you the unique record. And that unique record, either you can completely update or delete completely or update partially. So you need to identify that record and then apply this method. So if I go back to my specification now, what I can do after this post, I'll give a URI parameter colon, and what will be the URI parameter has to be the unique ID from your resource. So for example, if I go to the account, right? So in account, if I represent this record as account, from this record, the account ID will be always unique, right?
Yes.
Account ID. That, so URI parameter always should be a unique column from your record. Rest of the things are there, but you need to pick for URI, you need to pick the unique column from there. So I'll go ahead and I'll say, let's say you have given the column name as account ID. This will be your URI parameter. Now these methods, you can go inside and apply on this. So now if you see our now look at the endpoints. Account/account ID. See? Clear? So that means on accounts, you're passing get and post. Okay. Now, if you want to apply on specific record, put and patch and delete. Okay. On get also, for example, if I go to get, right? Now you are saying, give me all the records. This is what you'll get it. You'll get all the records. But if you are interested in the get the record where branch is Bandra, right? Branch is equal to Bandra. Okay. Now what will happen? You'll get a collection of records, but those records only belongs to this branch. SBI branch in Bandra. All those accounts will get it. Now this situation can be handled or achieved by on get method. You can create query parameters. And here you can say branch, and you can say this will be your data type string, and you can say this is required is equal to true.
Requires or required?
Required. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what was wrong, but after some time it will unresolved reference to true. Okay. So again, I told you, right? The indentation is very careful here. Okay. So this required was at the branch level. That's the reason for throwing error. Clear? Now, if you go add, now check this get. Now see in the query parameters, it will show you branch, and it says that this is a required field now. So that means if you pass the branch value, right, your record will get filtered. Instead of getting 100 records or million records, you'll get now 100 records or few records for that specific branch. Clear?
And this can be like, this can be get from the client, right?
Yeah. Client will be passing. Client will be sending this. So when they are building a URL, right? So if you go ahead now and say try this URL, go back, try it. If you pass some branch value here, Bandra, and you say send, if you look at the URL above here, if you copy this, Control A, Control C, see the URL, branch is equal to Bandra, right? At the end, question mark and this one. So when client will
I'm
be
just
triggering,
asking, I'm asking that this query parameter that will be decided by us, or it will be given requirement by the client?
No, we'll be deciding what will be the name of the query parameter. The value will be passed by the client.
Okay, we will decide the query parameter. Okay.
So Anyway, in the required document, the data type of the account will be given, and this parameter will be a part of your data type only, right? Branch.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
Yeah. So if you go here now, so instead of branch, what I'll say, branch, yes, branch. And from that branch, I am interested in something else. I wanted to have account type. Okay. And type will be string. Okay. I say required. This is also required. But this time I'll say false. So if you want to pass it. Otherwise, don't pass it. But if you pass the account type, I'll decide what your account type will be. So I can go ahead and say enum. Okay, so now I'm applying rules. See here. So if I'm saying, okay, you can pass account in the URL here. So you are saying I'm passing branch. Okay, so that is one parameter. Branch is equal to something. And then second parameter you're passing, that has to be passed after and. Okay, this is a syntax automatically taken care by that. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Account type is equal to, now what value is supposed to pass here? That value is decided over here. That will be decided over here. Now I'll decide here, loan, saving, current. Finally, I'll say credit. There will be some different types also. Okay. Now, if you go here, now see the account type becomes a drop down now, and it's showing me the values. Can I edit it? No way. I cannot edit. I have to select it from here. And branch, if you give this B, now if you say send data, you'll be keep on testing here itself, right? Yes. Now, if you look at the URL now, Control A, Control C, the value of your account type is one of the value from your enum. See here, account type is equal to loan. And this is case sensitive. You cannot pass something else other than this. L has to be capital. Okay. Otherwise, that value will be treated as different and it will throw you a bad request response back. Clear? While testing also, we'll see this, but just wanted to make sure that you are getting all the picture, clear picture. Yeah. Clear? Okay. Once you, so now if you go to your URL here, what you have done, you have passed the loan. That means you have decided the URL properly. Now you'll hit a send button. When you hit the send button, what you'll see? You'll get a body. You'll get a response code. You'll get a body in JSON or XML format, right? So now we need to configure this also. What will be my status code? What will be my body? How the body will look like? That thing I need to configure now. This part I have configured. I have selected get method on my account resource. Then I said, okay, boss, I want the collection of record, but those accounts has to be from branch Bandra, and from Bandra, I want only account which type is loan. So I'm interested in only loan account types, which belongs to Bandra. Okay, clear? Yep. Okay. Now let's go back to our design part. Okay. So now query parameter is clear. I'll go ahead and I'll type now. What do you want here now? You want a responses. That is what we are going to configure now. Responses. What will be the response of your output if everything is successful? 200. Under 200, what will be there? Body. Under body, what type of body it will be? I am just saying JSON right now. JSON. Okay. Under JSON, what will be there? I'll just give you the simple example right now. Okay. So I'll go ahead and I'll say example. I'll simply type right now one simple example like account ID. I'll say colon. And I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Okay. Let's look at this side now. Let's test it. So let's say branch, I just pass B loan, and if I say send, I should be able to see 200 and I'll be able to see proper output. Clear?
Yeah.
Right. If I go ahead here and go to my postman, trigger this URL, see, I'll be able to see how quick it is. If I share this URL to anyone, even if I share this URL to you, you'll be able to see this output. I have not published this it to my exchange, man, but still without logging into my account, people are able to access my APIs. Clear to you?
Yep.
Okay.
And
Now this is
in the body. In the
Yes.
body, we have right now select the example, right? But this will be the dynamic, right?
Yeah, when we'll be implementing, right?
Yeah.
When we'll be implementing this will be coming from the actual database. Okay. So it will be actually the array of records. Right now, I just gave single record, right? It will be array of records, comma. Hope you're looking at. I'll give you a proper example for here, but just let's finish this right now. Let's see.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, so right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say here 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this is one record. This is one record. They are belongs to branch Bandra, let's say, and their type is loan. But that business logic you'll be writing in implementation part. So you need a data from a branch Bandra, and the account type is loan. So based on the account type, you'll be pulling data. Based on the branch type, you'll be pulling data from the database, and then, but the output will look like this. That's what the intention. Right now, this is a mock data. In actual scenario, instead of 2 records, you'll be getting 10 records, but the structure of the data will be like this only. Your response will be like this only. Okay. So let me bring, I have that account details. Let me bring that. Just hold on. Instead of typing it, we can save that time, right? Yeah. So let me bring some RAML. I'll just bring some examples. So I'll just open it for you. So your data will look like this. Okay. So we'll Control C. We'll go to our, instead of this, I'll just paste it, and we need to fix the indentation. Okay. Otherwise, let me create some space. Okay. So example, delete space. Now, if I go ahead and trigger it, send, I should be able to see proper data now. Again, this is a mock data only. Yep. Right? Now I'm going to go ahead and create the record. Now, is this clear? Yes. Now your get method is properly configured. See, now when we are triggering get, we'll be passing branch, we'll be passing account type. And then once we hit the send button, if I go back to my postman, if I hit the send button, I'll be able to see this output. See, now there are 2 records. Now this data is coming from mock data right now. But in actual scenario, we'll be getting hundreds of records, but the structure of the response will be same. This way only. Nothing will get changed here. The only values will be changed. The number of records will get changed. The structure will be same.
And this account ID status and status update date item, this we will get from the client, right? Their payload or XML file or something like that.
No. We are pulling data right now. Get method, right? This is get method. We are not creating record right now. Whenever we are creating, that time we'll get a data from client. Right now, client is expecting data. So when this URL is triggered by client, this URL go into the database, and from the database, whichever records belongs to Bandra and whichever record belongs to loan type, those records will be given back to the client in this format. Clear?
Okay, but we account ID, status, and that all things will we need to decide in body, right? The value will be changed, but
Yeah. So you are saying keys?
keys, yes.
Yes.
That will be coming from any payload file from client, right?
Yeah, client will give us that, okay, boss, your response should be like this, and keys names are this. Okay, this case name, we cannot decide, right, what is there in their database or what they are expecting. Yes, this kind of structure will be given by in the requirement itself. Your response, get response will look like this. Your post request body will look like this. We need to get that from them only. Okay, client will give us this. Yeah. You're right.
I'm just clarifying with you.
Yeah. But these values will be
that will be dynamic.
Yes. So this will be there in the requirement itself, the requirement which we are decoding, right? And we have come up with all these things, right? If you remember, all this we came up so far. This is coming from that requirement document only. So one of these section, there'll be request response type, and the examples will be there. And based on that example, we'll be writing our data type.
Okay.
Clear?
Sure.
Okay. Now this is fine. Let's go ahead. Now, if I go back, not only 200, right? If you get the wrong response, wrong request, or if something is wrong with your server, then we'll be getting error responses also, right? Correct? So we'll configure error response also here. So let me properly indent this guy. Okay, let's cross check. This indentation is working fine. Should not throw any error. Yes, fine. Okay. Now, with the 200, we'll be able to see other error codes also. So instead of typing it, I'll just pick it from here. Okay, so if I go to my okay, so I'll just copy this.
This is we can get it online as well, right?
Yeah, online as well, but your client, what client is expecting the status and the error response body? That again,
error message should be changed. Yes, error message should be changed, right?
Yeah, correct.
Otherwise, everything will be fine.
Yeah, right. So now you see, now if you noticed, Kunal, really if you notice, this 400, 404 and 500, this will be common for any method. This is common for whether it's a get method or post method or any resource, this status code will be always 400. 400 belongs to bad request only, whether it's a get or post. Now, don't you think these codes, I'll be copying it for post also? Yep. Instead of 200, it will be 201 over there. But 400, 404 and 500, this will be common. So I'll show you that problem now, okay? Now see, everything we are started dumping here in a main file. Try to see how lengthier it's becoming now. Now I've just configured my get method, but look at the length of the code. Now almost we are reaching 80. Okay. So now let's configure the post method. Under the post method, what we are going to do? So let's go back to the post method. What we do in the moment I say post, right? It will be expecting body. In which format you are sending the body? So I'll say JSON. Okay. Now what body? I'll just get this same thing. I'll just go ahead and say Control V. This body I'll be sending it in my post request. So I need to give URL. So I'll just remove this part. I don't need to pass query parameter. I wanted to create it. Why I should filter it? Yes. Now this will be your URL. On account resource, you are firing post method. And in post method, it will be expecting body. In which format you are passing it? JSON. So this we need to configure first. Then only you can hit the send button, right? Then only you can expect the response. Now let's go ahead to our, here. Now first you need to tell, okay, what will be your body? Now if I go to my shelf, right? See here, it's properly telling me if this is my cursor position, what we can have here. We can have query parameters, we can have ease, we can have protocols, we can have what, but it will be a body. Okay, what kind of body? JSON. Now what is the body? I'll go ahead and say example. Okay, under the example we'll be pasting this same thing. Okay, let me just put it from here. Control C, Control V. Now if you look at here, now here itself you will see, Ashish, you are keep on repeating this, right? Now see
fragmentation again.
Yeah, so we'll apply the fragmentation later, but let me show you. Now once you configure body, so after this you'll give description and all that, right? We'll see later that what is the description of this method and all that. So this you can say create account, like that you'll give a description. Here you'll say after this, not after this, in the under get method, you'll give a description. Okay. All these things. Okay. So I'll just minimize this get method right now. We'll just configure the post method. So now you configure the post method on accounts. You pass the body. You decided the body data type. Okay. Now, if you hit the send button, what you will get it? You'll get a response. And that response type will be 201. And you'll be getting some message that accounts got created successfully. Like that, right? So let's go ahead. And now, where is my cursor? The body. After body, that means here, right? Now see here, it's giving me responses. Under responses, you need to be very careful. Yeah, properly configure the put your indentation, otherwise you'll be in problem. Okay. So now responses 201, there will be a body, right? What type of body you're expecting? I'm expecting JSON. Now under the JSON, I'll say example. Okay, and we can get the output from, I'll just simply get the examples from here. Okay, copy this, put it here, control. Okay. Now if you go here in the documentation summary, now I have post method. If you go ahead here and say try it. Okay, just reduce the font so that you'll be able to see. Now see, this is the body I'm going to send. This is the URL I'm going to trigger. This is the method I'm going to trigger. And I'm going to get 201. And I'm going to get this response. Okay, so let's go ahead and test it. Try it. There is an option called try it. Go ahead and send. See, I'll be able to see this output. Clear?
Yep.
Now you can go ahead and configure the, the put also. So in put, what we'll do? So we'll be giving you similar body. Let me copy this. No, before that. So go to get, and we'll be configuring this error codes. Now think about it. Only I have configured 2 methods and already I have repeated so many things. Clear so far?
Yes.
Now if you go ahead and just look at the documentation of post method. Documentation, go back, summary, post method. See now, 201, 400, 404, 500. All these responses are possible from the post method. Clear?
Yep.
Now, we can go ahead and now we can configure other methods.